are you? I want to thank all of you for being here. See some of my friends Sarah and her family in the back. Thank you all for being here. So, tell you, I've been praying about, what the Lord can use me this morning for. And so I want to share with all of you my story, okay? I think it was absolutely remarkable that we got to hear about Jonah today, about how Jonah called him, how God called Jonah to go and do something for him. But we all know how that story goes. But I'm going to share with all of you my story real quick. Go to the next. You go to the next slide. This is my family. This is my wife Lindsay, and that's my little girl Savannah. Before I met my wife, and I was a sinner, and my whole life was in shambles. I've been a police officer for 20 years, and so when you're out here in the streets and you see the things that I've seen, I've also been a police officer in Memphis. I've worked in narcotics, I've worked homicide, I've worked sex crimes. You name it, I've done it. I've been shot at. These are things that I've gone through in my world in law enforcement. And so when I became that officer, my heart came very, very hard to society. You almost get put on a path of destruction. And I will tell you, I was on that path of destruction. Okay, I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, living a lifestyle that I shouldn't have been living, thinking that, hey, I'm going to be perfectly fine. But guess what? My whole life was in turmoil. Go to the next slide. However, when I gave my life back to Christ, and I thank my wife Lindsay for that, after meeting my wife, her brother and I, we were partners for 10 years. And her brother had always been planting seeds on me the whole time about the love of Jesus Christ. And I just, of course, kind of blew it off, I'm like, whatever. And I had the opportunity to meet Lindsay. We had gone out me and Mick had gone out to dinner, and I met Lindsay. And after the second date, she said, if you're going to continue to date me, Mac, you're going to go to church. And I was like, all right. So started going to Trinity Baptist Church with her and ended up giving my life back to Jesus Christ. And Lindsay would always tell me, Mac, if you would just listen to the Holy Spirit, he will use you for something amazing. Never thought that I'd end up being a missionary over in Africa. But I always like to use this analogy when I'm talking to people, all right, about my profession before I get into my story. So I have a gun belt. I wear a uniform every single day when I go to work. And the most important tool that I have on me is my radio. It's not my gun, it's not my taser, it's my radio. I'm going to tell you why. My lifeline is Central Dispatch. If dispatch gives me a call, it is my responsibility to listen and answer that call. That call may be as simple as a shooting. It could be as simple as a domestic violence. It could be as easy as going to help a little old lady get across the street. But when dispatch says 438, I need you en route to this call, it's my responsibility to listen. If I'm not listening to that call from dispatch, they're going to ask me for a second time to go. If I don't listen a second time, they're going to ask another officer to go. And because I didn't answer that 911 call, guess what? Now there's repercussions. I'm in trouble. Because whether we like it or not, that 911 call is going to get answered. It is the same way when God Almighty calls you to go do something for him. It is your responsibility to listen to what Jesus Christ is telling you. And even though sometimes those calls may be hard, okay, whether you know it or not, God has already equipped you to go and answer that call. So before we get into my presentation, if any of you are going through this in life right now, God is calling you to do something, I encourage you to step out in faith. I'm telling you, what Jesus Christ has done for me, he can do the same thing for you. So as I told you before, I'm a Decatur police officer. Now I'm a missionary. A lot of people say, how in the world are you able to go to Africa as much as you do? Well, for one, the city of Decatur completely backs what I do, and our chief of police 100% supports what I do. So anytime I need to go and support my ministry over in Africa, I can leave and take my family over there. About a few months ago, my wife and I and our daughter, we were commissioned as missionaries on behalf of our church. So we're just waiting on God's timing for us to go and do this full time in Africa. So be traveling back and forth. Right now, my calling is being a police officer. I'm ready to leave, but until God says, hey, go ahead and take out, and go do this full time, then so be it. So this is about us. This is a little story about AGI where we operate.
Is a land full of untempered nature.
You got your sound, brother?
Of the world.
We got some sound to it. See if we... So before Wade's getting that working, we've got a film guy that goes with us when we're in Africa. His name's Brian Shamiga. We love this guy, good Christian man, and he is a news reporter for Zambia National News. So we love putting our stuff on film. That way we can show our people what we're doing. Just bear with him just a minute.
Blessed with a growing
Yes,
population.
they are, yeah.
Of over 22 million people. This is Zambia.
Do I need to turn it up from my laptop, you think?
Ethnic tribes.
All right, so this is a film.
Located in the warm heart of Southern Africa, is a land full of untempered nature and wonders of the world. Blessed with a growing population of over 22 million people, this is Zambia, the home to vibrant traditions and 73 ethnic tribes. Over 50% of Zambia's population is rural-based, and the majority are subsistence farmers. Life in Zambia's most rural areas is full of challenges, ranging from poverty, lack of clean fresh water, clothing, food, and health care. The Zambian government's agenda to end poverty in rural areas focuses on a multi-sectoral approach under the 8th National Development Plan aimed at reducing national poverty rate from over 60% to 40%. The Zambian government's 40% poverty reduction target, using the expanded social protection programs and various economic empowerment programs in rural areas, is slowly bearing fruits. Despite all these efforts, the Zambian government faces significant challenges, including limited physical space, high external debt servicing, and severe climate shocks that have hindered progress in the rural areas. This calls for combined efforts and collaborative initiatives from international partners, civil societies, and the private sector to end poverty in Zambia. This clarion call has been answered by Archangel Group International, an international NGO dedicated to tackling some of Zambia's most pressing issues, including poverty, human trafficking, lack of access to clean water, education, and health care. Through community-driven projects, AGI is committed to creating lasting change in the lives of vulnerable communities. With this mission in sight, AGI founder Jonathan Macklin and a team of 3 missionaries traveled to Zambia to embark on various projects aimed at building sustainable solutions that empower communities, strengthen families, and foster hope for a brighter future. Located in the warm.
I kind of tell you how all this got started. After I'd given my life back to Jesus, he really started doing a really big number in my life. And in March of 2022, I was invited to go to Africa for the very first time. Mind you, I did not even know where Zambia was. I'm like, why in the world would I want to go to Africa? Well, I got to go over there, and I got to be a part of it. So when I got over there, I couldn't help but see all the orphans and all the people that were in desperate need of help. More importantly, they needed the living water, which is Jesus Christ. So something personal about me is my mother was an orphan. My father grew up in poverty his entire life, and he was abused by my grandfather, who was an alcoholic. Now, those kids, they were orphans, and I saw them out on the street. And I was like, okay, this really started, this really bothered me to the point I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do something. So I came back, I talked to my wife about it. I was like, God's put this fire inside of me. And we came up, first thing we did was we came up with the name Archangel. And how did we come up with that name? Well, law enforcement officers, we always look to Michael the Archangel. That's a word that the Archangel's always been in the law enforcement vocabulary. So that's where we first came to the name, and then Group International. But I go and tell you this too. Yes, I'm a police officer. But you know how many police officers have been over there to Africa with me? 0. When I really started honing in and I really started focusing on the path that Jesus Christ had me, he has started separating me from the Decatur Police Department. Now, I love my officers. I really do. I care about them. But I'm starting to completely shift away from them. And sometimes I may have been like, well, God, why won't these people get involved with me? God's like, I don't want everybody involved. This is the mission that I've given you. And not everybody needs to be a part of your mission. So I want you to remember that. Your calling is your calling. And sometimes it may be hard. Why don't everybody want to believe in what I'm trying to do? Well, they're not supposed to. Okay? Go to the next picture.
Located.
Another prime example, this is my best friend. This is Dr. Douglas Sakawa. Remember, I said, God qualifies the caller. How in the world am I going to operate in a foreign country? I don't even know the language. I don't know how to speak to the people. I don't know how to communicate. This is the very first man that I got to speak to before I went over to Zambia. This is now my best friend. Douglas speaks all the native languages in Zambia. He's got a degree in social work theology, master's in developmental studies, master's in theology, doctorate in theology, currently working on his PhD in philosophy of developmental studies. He graduates in February with that, so he'll have his PhD. Only got a high school diploma, and I had to go to summer school my sophomore and junior year, and I almost didn't get my diploma. So that's God saying I got a sense of humor. But Douglas is our president of our NGO, okay? So in the way that we're structured here in the U.S., we're a nonprofit 501c3 in the U.S. We're also a NGO in the Republic of Zambia. And the reason we set it up like that is because, Lord forbid, if something bad was to happen on that continent, I want to have U.S. backing, okay? I need to be able to go and knock on the door so I can come home. Also, I take mission teams over there to Africa with us all the time, so it's my responsibility to make sure that everybody is safe while we're over there doing our ministry. So we're proud to say we're a well-oiled machine, and God just continues to do miracles. This is Douglas and his 3 boys. This is Jeremy on the left, Douglas here in the middle, KJ for King James, and then his boy on the right is Theodore. The only one that is not shown is George. George was in school at the time of this photo, but these are our 4 young men that are currently there in Zambia. And oh yeah, and I won't tell you, I'm going to get off topic for a second. Douglas is 53 years old, and Petronella is his wife. She's, 47? She's almost 49 years old, okay? She's pregnant, all right? I'm going to tell y'all something. The African people, man, they outlive everybody, and the reason why is because they the lifestyle that they have over there is just a whole lot healthier than ours. So when he called me and said, my wife's pregnant, I said, do what? So, I mean, Lord gives them blessings. So, well, we'll talk about it. Good, next one. All right, so here is one of our things that we have been able to do, and it's all because of Jesus Christ, okay? We have put 32 bore wells in the ground since June of 2024, so over 100,000 people have got access to water. Healthcare cases are down 60% in our kingdom that we currently operate in, and then the village where our farm is, and we'll talk about that in a minute. In Macklin, we had 0 cases of healthcare waterborne diseases last year. So we're hoping that we can dig 30 by the end of the year, so we're on pace to where we can do that, doing that this year. But I'll go ahead and tell you one thing, and I'm going to show you guys a film in just a minute and show y'all some pictures. We all know that the most important thing that you have to have, okay, to receive salvation and to enter the gates of heaven is you got to have the living water, okay? Jesus clearly says that, especially whenever he encounters the Samaritan woman at the well. He tells them, anybody that drinks this water is going to thirst again. But when you receive the living water, you're never going to thirst again, and you will get to go into the gates of heaven. One thing that is so beautiful about these water wells is it is our first line of sustainability, okay, for these people to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I'm like, okay, well, how does that work? If you've ever been out of the United States of America and you've ever been to a third world country, okay, when you try to present the gospel of Jesus Christ to somebody that hasn't eaten in 3 or 4 days, and they're having to walk 6 or 7 miles to go get fresh water, when you present this book to them and you share the good news, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to say, how can somebody like this love me if I'm having to walk all of that distance just to go get water? I'm telling you, I've walked these miles with these women before, carrying it on their heads and everything else. But when we put these water wells in the ground, a majority of these will go next to a church that my buddy has planted, okay? Why do we put it next to the church? Well, we all know that you get to come to the church. This is where you receive the living water. This is where we receive the strength and the stuff that we need to get through the next day. But in those countries over there, they don't have running water. So when we put those water wells next to the church, people have to come to the church to receive the physical drinking water. Well, guess who else comes to the church to draw water? A non-believer. So when they come to that church and they encounter a believer, guess what? That seed's going to get planted. So over time, that non-believer is going to come inside the church, therefore receive the living water. Well, the water well goes even further than that. Now that they got fresh drinking water, nobody's getting sick, so they're not having to spend money on health care cases. Now they've got money to where the congregation can come together. They can grow crops. They can grow their food. And because of the type of climate that Zambia has, they can grow crops and fruits and vegetables all year round. So when the congregation comes together, they're growing their crops. Now they're making a profit. They're able to start themselves a self-sustaining business. I'll show y'all some pictures in a minute, but I'm fixing to show all of you, is it the video next to the one with the drilling rig? I can't remember. Okay, you go to the next one. I'm fixing to show all of you this picture right here. This is how God has a sense of humor, okay? And this is a prime example. So one of my really good friends, his name is Ram Reddy, all right? Ram's from India. Ram's also a Hindu, but he's one of my closest friends over in Zambia. He's my driller, okay? This guy knows drilling. He knows what he's doing. Well, this last trip, well, the trip before last, Lindsay had a conversation with Ram out there at our farm, and they were going back and forth about their religions. And Lindsay was telling Ram about the gospel of Jesus Christ. And finally, Ram said, you know what, Lindsay? If you give me a Bible, I'll read it. And in the Indian culture, if the Indians tell you they're going to do something, they do it. So this last trip that we were in, guess what? Lindsay gave Ram a Bible. Hope he knows what he's ready for. But that is the type of God that we serve, is the people that he sends and brings to you to make sure that his will gets accomplished. They may not be the same religion as you. They may not believe in Jesus Christ. However, it's our responsibility, and okay, when we accept salvation, all right, God calls us, hey, what's further? You need to start planting seeds. You need to do your thing. So that's what we're supposed to do. So I'm going to let all of you see a film. We had the privilege of seeing this lady again, but this is just one of 32 impactful stories. But this story that you're about to see is probably one of the most powerful things we've been able to see, and one of the probably first miracles that I've seen God perform while I was over in Zambia.
If people would have continued to drink this water, this time the clinics and the hospitals would have been filled up with people that are sick. But this situation is really pathetic. It's not only this area, but so many areas in our country, Zambia. My words to Mark and his wife and all the partners in the USA, I'm saying you are the game changer. You have brought good values in the lives of our people.
I have a hard time imagining anybody drinking this. I don't have words.
This is heartbreaking. We come from a country that God has blessed us, but I'm asking that come on board with us. Be a part of God's will, be a part of saving lives. This is what we're doing here. We're restoring families. We're ending poverty. We're bringing families together, kids together. This is unity. These water wells is more than just people being healthy. It's more than, people not being sick anymore. But this is life changing. I mean, we're because of all you gracious donors. I mean, we're changing lives over here. And God is allowing us to be that vessel for Him to where we can do this. So be a part of our story. This is a life-changing organization.
Ananiikirako bomu chifundo chake chifuka cha chikondi chamene ali nacho nakuniona mwamene nilili msituation yanga. So paichi niyamikira maningi pachamene anachita kunchitira chifundo, ndina manja kali kunikonda anchitira chifundo aniganzira kunchitira vambiri mu moyo wanga. So paichi nimuyamikira maningi Mulungu pa chifundo chamene ali nacho pali ine ne mwana wake. Chifuka amapitira mu bantu Mulungu, kupitira muli bazungu abakubaleta kubwera kuno kufamu kunithandizira ine. Endi muli vonse vini muyamikira maningi Mulungu chifukwa ali na chikondi, ali na chifundo nane, ndipo Mulungu ni mapempera usiku na mzuwa kuti azibasungira umoyo wa patali bazungu pamosi na badokusa kwawo.
One reason why I show that is, that was, well, we had a breakdown when we were there, and I always get emotional when I see that, okay? Because still can't believe that God would call somebody like me to do something for him. And I'm going to tell you right now, as you watch that video, as you fully give your life to Jesus Christ, okay, and you start fulfilling a will for him and you start answering his call, I'm going to tell you, it's the most difficult thing that you're ever going to go through, okay? You're going to be persecuted. People are going to, they're going to make fun of you, okay? They're going to tell you things that you should never have to hear, because I've had to face that. I've had to face that in my own profession, okay? But I stay in the fight. I continue to do what I do for Jesus Christ, and I'm going to continue to do that, because if that man can lay his life down for me, and he can be willing to sacrifice his life so I can enter the kingdom of heaven through salvation, I think I can go 10,000 miles away from home, and I think I can do a will for Jesus Christ. And I'm going to tell you, my will is going into Africa, okay? That's where God has me going now. But he may be calling some of you to go across the street or do a ministry here in Lawrence County. Or it could be just going to do ministry even in another country. What I encourage you is that answer that call. I'm telling you, it's the most rewarding thing that you're ever going to do. But Mary's doing good. We love Mary. We got to see her just a couple weeks ago, and Mary said something to me while we were there. She said, I can't see. Mary lost her vision. She got cancer, and she's 100% blind. But even though she may not be able to physically see, guess what? She knows that Jesus Christ loves her. Okay? So, and we're praying one day for a miracle to be performed where she can see again. There's some things that we could possibly do with the medical community to help us, but that's just going to really be up to God. Show y'all some more pictures. All right, here's one of our things, too, that's really powerful about the water well. So we've got a total of 6. But these are 4, for example, but these are 4 churches that we've currently got being constructed. 3 of them are, 2 of them are already done. But one thing that we love doing is when these churches get planted over there, okay, we want to empower those communities and not enable them. We don't want to be the people to go over there and pay for everything, because then they're going to become dependent on us, and they're going to be dependent on the organization. We want them depending on Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ alone. So that's why we follow up every single thing that we do with discipleship, so they know that as the church is growing, is that they're doing it in a mighty way when they're doing it. For example, these bricks, okay? We provided you with the water well, okay? Now you have the water resource that you need to hand make your own bricks, all right? Well, all of these churches here were handmade from the water that was provided with the dirt and the soil. Once that church gets to a certain point, okay, we'll help them. We'll raise funds for them to put the roof on the church. But now these churches, they've got gardens. They're able to grow and sell their crops. They're making more bricks for additional infrastructure. So instead of them relying on us, okay, we're there for them, okay, but now you've got the congregation, all right, that's able to do it together, because one thing that we don't want to do is disrupt their traditions and cultures over there in that country. All right, so here's some more pictures. This is some of our pictures from our wells, just kind of what these big drilling rigs look like. And what we like to tell people, some of the big questions is how far do we dig? We will dig to 100 meters, which is 350 feet underground. If we can get to that depth, then we can get fresh, clean drinking water, so we don't have to worry about that water well going dry. We have great technology from South Africa. We actually got 2 great women that do our siting for us. And then once we get our site reports back, I send them to a geologist, who's a friend of mine over in Texas. And so we look at these reports because we want to make sure that we get on the right point. There are times we did hit a dry well last week. I think it was just probably because of some of the earth minerals sometimes can give off a false reading, but it kind of happens sometimes. God's testing those villages too, and he's also teaching us things too. So more pictures. It's my little girl. And she ain't hard to spot over there. That's why, and I'll tell y'all right now, this is really funny about this. So, my dog, I feel much safer when I'm over in Zambia than I am here in America. So, when we go to our village, which is in Macklin, all the kids know her, okay? And yes, there's thousands of people that live out there. But if Savannah's like, I'm going to play, I'm like, have fun. And she'll take off. And I don't even worry about it because, you know, like I said, she ain't going to be hard to spot. So it's, you know, it's kind of the running joke around there. The whole community out there, the village, they really take care of us when we're there. And here's some more pictures. This was for a school that we did. Had over 1,000 kids. We did that last year. And I tell you, one of the great stories that we love sharing is we love sharing the story of the woman at the well. That's kind of one of the things that we love sharing about with the water wells, its significance in the living water. So before that drill bit goes in the ground, the entire community hears about the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's one of the things that we do. There's some more. All right, I'm going to share a story about this gentleman right here. This is Pastor Isaac. This is his little girl, Sarah, down here at the bottom. His village was the very first place that I dug a water well, that the organization that we were able to do. And what was very significant about this water well was 6 months before we were able to dig the well, Isaac's wife, they drank surface water, and Isaac's wife developed bilharzia disease, and she passed away. So his other little girls got sick, but they survived. So I remember whenever we hit water, everybody was crying, including myself. And my friend Joseph, he came behind me. He's a missionary that lives in the southern province, and he said, "This is grace." And just seeing the water coming out of the ground. And even though Isaac may have lost his wife, okay, God used that significant moment to unify that village. And I'm going to tell you, the gospel of Jesus Christ is spreading like wildfire now through there. Isaac has since remarried by the grace of God. So these little girls will be able to grow up and have a sort of a mother figure as they get to grow up into womanhood. They'll have one. So God showed them, you know, he still loves them. And he could take tragedy, and he can always take ashes and turn it into beauty. So that's one of the most powerful things I love about God. All right, so a lot of people, I get this question too. They're like, how in the world are you able to go into Africa? I don't show this picture too often, nor do I talk about some of the other things that we do there a lot of times. But this is the presidential cabinet with the Republic of Zambia. So a lot of these guys are bodyguards for the president and the anti-human trafficking division. So we went through leaps and bounds, and God connected us with the right people, because I have to say this, as a white guy going into an African nation, they look at you a lot different, okay, and especially with us being from the West. Sometimes, unfortunately, because of the way our politics are here, you have to make sure that you let them know that you're not affiliated with any type of political party here. And so these guys, they trust us. I hold the necessary credentials, and I have a Zambian ID, so any country that touches the borders of Zambia, you name it, Congo, I can go into those countries without a passport. And sure, I rely on my country, but I can rely on Zambia's government too to come pull us out of the fire if we needed to. So it's important, especially when you're doing ministry in Africa. It's my little girl. So this is a vacation Bible school we were talking about. We did 2 weeks ago. She actually taught the book of Jonah. So Savannah knows the book of Jonah. That's why she's got that little smile on her face. But Savannah, I would say we were very proud of her. Savannah knows the Word of God. We work with her, so she does. We do. And so these are some pictures from the Vacation Bible School. So we had over 300 kids. This was at the Chimalesa School. So you notice these kids are wearing flip-flops. one of our things we love doing over there in that country is, because the first sentence of our mission statements were the hands and feet of Jesus. We love giving out flip-flops. So within the last 2 trips, we've given out over 1,000 pairs. A lot of kids over there don't have tennis shoes and flip-flops like we have. So we like to spoil them. You know, we like to hook them up a little bit. So, yeah. So they call them tropicals is what they call them. But here's some more pictures of some of some of our people in Africa. They like suckers, so you see the little man with the sucker. So a lot of things too. I like to share this picture too. Like, just you notice how they got the baby wrapped, you know, with the shatanga. Okay, that's where you could tell that they're from Zambia. So African nations, okay, the women will wrap their children, you know, with the shatangas, which is what they wear. They'll wear it around their skirts. So you can tell a lot of times what part of the region of Africa they might be, depending on how they have their shatanga wrapped around their kids. So that's pretty cool too, kind of some of the things that different cultures do. There's just some more pictures. All right, so they're going to be a film in a minute. So this is our farm. This is A9. All right, and so I got to share this with everybody yesterday. I'm going to read it to you guys because my wife, whenever we got the farm, we were trying to come up with a name for it. And my wife was reading the scripture, and this is what we came up with. In John 3, verse 23, now John also was baptizing at Ainon near Salem because there was plenty of water, and people were coming and being baptized. That's where the word Ainon comes from. And I'm telling you, what's beautiful about this farm is we have an actual underwater water stream that's running directly up underneath our farm. So I said yesterday, so we could fill one of the tanks that you're going to see in a minute is it's a 5,000 milliliter tank. We could fill that 7 times a day. Okay, that's how much water we have. So God gave us what we needed to self-sustain this farm. So I think it's the film next. I'll show you a quick film real quick. Are we doing good on time, Pastor? Okay. This farm is called Ainon, and the word Ainon is mentioned one time in the Bible out of John 3, verse 23. John the Baptist baptized near Ainon because there was plenty of water. The word Ainon in Hebrew means springs of water. So when we built this goat farm here in Macklin, a lot of community members out here actually had a hand in this. Digging post holes, putting up the fence. We hired workers to build the goat house, to make bricks. So the entire community has, a lot of the members have had a hand on it. We do have the vision of and the plans to build a Bible Institute. This is where people can come and learn the Word of God. We also want to use this farm to teach people how to farm themselves. Teach our young people that are growing up that may not have the opportunity to go to college, but we're showing them job skills, things that's going to help them survive. I'm telling you, anybody that has been on the fence about supporting this organization, I can tell you, first and foremost, we are a God-driven organization. Everything we do is Jesus Christ first. The second thing is, after that, it's for the people. Everything that anybody has ever given to this organization goes directly back into AGI. Our role here is to be the hands and feet of Jesus and to save lives, and that's exactly what we're going to do out here. And I can promise you that when you give to this organization, lives are going to be saved because of that. And we want to just thank you for to those that have been supporting us. We're grateful for all of you. What's very beautiful about this farm, I'll show you this next picture. This is Christine Macklin. This is the head woman of our village, okay? Christine, we love her. She's my Zambian mother, all right? So in the village where we are located, we're in the center of Macklin. They gave us 40 acres of land. When I tell you, yes, they gave us 40 acres of land. They deeded it to us. We have it because they believed in what we were doing. So we were talking to some of the guys yesterday because about people that own land. Christine owns 275,000 acres, okay? So in Zambian culture and African culture, land is traditional, so you can't mine it, you can't do anything with it. So for them, they just hang on to it. But they believed in what we were doing, so they gave us that land to where we can develop. So we built a house for her. So we built that for her as a gift. Christine was living in a hut. You know, when we built that for her, it took her a little bit to kind of move into it because, you know, she was just used to living on a dirt floor. But you know what? That was normal to them, okay? They don't have to have all this extra stuff that we have here in the States. So that's the house. All right, so this is the next house, and I'm going to show. So as I told y'all, we take mission groups to Africa with us all the time. So if the Lord lays it on your heart, you feel like you want to come over there and be a part of our ministry, we'd love to take you, okay? So this was AI generated, but this is exactly what the house is going to look like in the next 60 days. So right now, this is what it looks like now. So this house is exactly 4,500 square feet, so we can house up to 25 people. So we've got 4 big bathrooms. 2 of those are dormitory style. And, you know, we have a house now for people to stay, but this will be 100% solar powered. It will be what we call Americanized, so because when we bring our guests, we want them to be comfortable. Okay, so we literally have no electrical power lines near where we are. So when I tell y'all we're in the middle of the bush, we're in the middle of the bush. The only type of communication we have now is Starlink, and so that's what we have to make phone calls. So you want to come with us, just be prepared. Like you're going to be roughing it. This is the back shot of the house. It's what our water tank looks like. And the A9 Bible Institute, which we were talking, I'll show you the plans. That's the next picture. All right, so this is what the house is going to look like. So whenever we get done with the house, turn of the year, we should break ground on the A9 Bible Institute. So my job, I'm a school resource officer, okay? So I love kids. I believe in good education. So at Decatur City Schools, we have the CAD, Career Academic Development School. So I was like, you know what? We could do something like that over there in Zambia, but do it with a gospel mindset. So this school will not only train pastors to go out and church plant and hopefully eventually go out into different countries, we could teach our kids that live in the rural areas, plumbing, welding, construction, things that work within that culture. They could come to this school. It'd be an opportunity for them to come get a free education because they're not going to be able to afford to go to college, okay? But we teach them a skill. They learn to do it with a biblical mindset. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody. God gets glory. These kids get to receive a good education and move forward. That's one of the first pictures. So that's like one of the last pictures, but you know, there are so many moving parts to this ministry, and I tell you, I could talk for hours about this, but I just want to share with all of you one thing that I do know. Okay, yes, God gave me the thoughts. He gave me He gave me everything that I needed to start Archangel Group International, okay? But I want y'all to know this is not my ministry. It belongs to God. Because if I do anything outside the will of God, or I do anything that's not going to bring glory to his name, he will take it away from me. And he will put somebody else in place, okay? It's like we were talking about Jonah this morning. You know, this is an example that I'd like to use as I close. Jonah wasn't happy whenever God told him to go to Nineveh. He didn't want to go. It's like, I don't want to do this. So what did God do? Basically, you got swallowed up by the whale because you're going to go. So there are times, yes, where I've been sitting in my police car and dispatch gives me a call and I sling papers, I slam MDT down and I'm yelling. I'm like, no. But I do it with a 438, I'll be en route. So I go because I'm being called to go, because I know the repercussions that's going to happen if I don't go, okay? So when God is calling you to do something, I'm telling you, do listen, open your heart and go. And if there's some of y'all out here that are sitting thinking, I've done way too much, God will never call me to do anything. I'm telling you, that's a lie of the devil. Okay? Look at Paul. Paul killed Christians. All right? He was a murderer. He did everything against God. But God said, you know what? I got something from you in Damascus. And he broke him down, and Paul became, I would say, probably the greatest missionary. So answer the call. Listen to what God's telling you. And be willing to step out on a leap of faith. I'm telling you, it's the most rewarding thing that you will ever do. And sometimes, you know, I look at these people, and my daughter, we had an opportunity to, the Decatur Fire Department donated almost $500,000 worth of fire safety equipment to us last week. And we're having it flown over there to Zambia, and we're going to be able to donate it to the Zambia Fire Department. And when the news media was talking to my little girl, she said something to them that really struck home. You know, they asked her, what's your favorite thing about Africa? And, you know, she was like, well, they may be poor, but they're the happiest people because they have God. So that for us, that was a reminder of me, is when you share the good news, you share that living water, that is going to put a smile on their face. So thank all of you for letting me come to y'all's church. We love you guys. If y'all want to, if you feel led to give for our organization, we are 100% tax deductible, and the money that we do receive is going to go to our mission house to finish it. So I just share with you, we're looking to raise between $10,000 to $15,000. So for our solar energy, that's just for the solar batteries, so we don't have to depend on anything other than that. But thank all of you for letting us come. We love all you guys. Thank you.